Hey y'all, my name is Sandra Monsa and I want to welcome you to my channel, There Is More. I hope you guys are having an amazing month so far. So for this week, I want to talk to you guys about waiting and just the purpose that is found in the periods of time or seasons that we find ourselves waiting on God for either, promises coming to pass or prayers being answered. And actually, I have a blog. My blog is called The Awakened Dreamer. I'm going to post the link below. My very first post on that blog actually has to do with waiting, and it's titled How to Have Joy in Waiting. So over time, the Lord has really been growing me in just like revelation and understanding of the purpose of just the waiting seasons that we find ourselves in life. And so with that, I want to share a testimony from my second year of ministry school. So if you've watched some of my videos, then you've heard a little bit of my journey of first year of ministry school, in which the Lord begun just teaching me how to be totally and fully dependent on Him. So for all 3 years of ministry school, I did not work because the Lord was teaching me that. And so first year is over and I am feeling like a champion, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I just got through an entire year of not knowing where anything was going to come from. And so I'm going to make this like really condensed because it's just way too much detail for this video. I don't want to make it too long. And so fast forward after summer of my first year, now second year is about to begin. And because of just my experience in first year, just believing God and trusting Him, I'm like, you know what? For my second year, I'm just going to believe that everything is going to be taken care of before school starts. Because for my first year, my breakthrough with the provision that I needed actually happened after I got to Reading. So this time I'm like, you know what? Before school starts, everything's going to be taken care of. All right. The first day of school is registration for second year. And I remember I go to the Twin View campus. That's where we had our second year. And they tell me that I needed to have at least $1,500 of my tuition paid to even be a student. And honestly, I was not anywhere remotely close to that $1,500 of my tuition to be a student. So I remember I go home that day and I'm like, you know what? I have been here before. So I'm just believing that within the next couple of days, something is going to happen and I'm going to be in school. All right, so the second day, nothing. Third day, nothing. First week, nothing. 2 weeks, nothing. 3 weeks, nothing. And now we're going into almost a month of me being outside of school and nothing is happening. Okay, so Reading is hot. At this time, I mean, usually it is, but especially at this time of the year. And my roommates are in school from morning to evening, and people that I know or friends are either at school as well or they're working. So I pretty much have nothing to do. So I'm in the house for the most part all day, and I'm left to myself and to my thoughts, and I'm about to lose it. So when it's about almost a month of being outside of school and just waiting for something to happen in order for me to start school, I had to meet with the lady in charge of finances at the school. So I went there to her office and she looked at me and she said, come back next year. And I remember looking at her and saying, you know what, I don't know what it is, but I just believe that I'm supposed to be here and this is a year that I'm supposed to do school. And she was like, realistically, honestly, you don't have anything. And I was like, but I know I'm supposed to be here. And she said, okay. This was a Thursday when I met with her. She's like, okay, I'm going to give you until Sunday. She said, if you don't have anything, if you don't have at least $1,500 paid off by Sunday, you're not supposed to be here. And actually the tuition for second year was $39.50, pretty much $4,000. And so it's a lot. And so I remember going home after that meeting and I just literally felt at the end of my rope. Like, I've been in Reading for so long and I'm looking like a fool, honestly, and people telling me, you know, yeah, come back, just do it next year, maybe just get a job and work and save money, then do school next year, like all these different voices. And here I am believing that God said, this is your year. And so again, fast forward, too much detail, Sunday comes. And by that Sunday that she gave me that ultimatum to have at least $1,500, I had $2,100 of my tuition paid off. And Monday was my first day of school. I'm like, yay, God, finally I'm in school. And I went to school. After I was at school, I get a call and I'm told that somebody just paid off my tuition. And I'm told that somebody went to the lady's office and wrote a check for $2,200. To this day, I have no idea who this person was. But with that, all of my tuition was paid off, and I had about $300 or $350 left over. So I had a total of $4,300 of my tuition paid. And I'm just like blown out of my mind. And my friend Angela told me that she was committing to paying for my rent and my groceries the entire school year. So not only was my tuition paid for, all of my groceries and my rent was taken care of for that entire year. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, an entire almost month of nothing happening and just waiting for my breakthrough. And after being given that ultimatum within those 2 days, everything is taken care of, and so much more than I would have expected. And so I just felt like with that, and going back to just the waiting, and Isaiah 40 verse 31, those that wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. And just that aspect of waiting on God, renewing our strength. And honestly, that almost month of being outside of school was hard and frustrating. It felt like I was forgotten. And again, I felt like I was stupid. Like, what am I doing here? And I don't know what people were thinking when they saw me, but I'm sure they thought this girl is crazy. But in that period of time, when I'm just like, God, I don't know what's happening, and it was painful. It really truly was. But now when I look back at that, I'm reminded that the Lord was simply strengthening me. He was strengthening my faith. And in the waiting, honestly, at least for me, is in the seasons where God challenges what I'm believing. A lot of the times it's confronting lies that I'm believing about Him, about His nature, about just who He is. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the times we don't even realize that we're believing lies about who God is. And so at least for me, it's in those times where I'm in between what I'm believing for, what He said over me, and the fulfillment of that is where a lot of the stuff is challenged, and like I'm refined. And I feel like that waiting period, again, just like the scripture says, is where God renews our strength. And it's where He gives us the strength to carry our next season and to be good stewards of the next season. For me, that second year, as crazy and at times cruel as that almost month felt like, looking back at it, it was God literally strengthening my faith in Him to believe for even greater than ever before. Like, I'm going to share a little bit about my third year in later videos, but my third year, I got to believe God for even greater than I believed Him for my first and second year. And it was because of that process God was strengthening me. And I feel like a lot of you watching this are in that place, that in-between time where you've gotten the promise, or you've been praying, and you're in this place of like waiting on Him. Honestly, waiting is just not sitting there. I feel like waiting has a purpose. And I feel like instead of focusing too much on the things that you believe in Him for, or the promise, and in a sense almost missing what the purpose is for this in-between time, I feel like find what that purpose is and ask the Lord, God, what are you doing right now? And whatever that is, be intentional about being a good steward of that. Because honestly, whatever He's promised you, He cannot lie. It will come to pass. So what is the purpose of right now? And find out what that is. And so, like, for me, that's been what I've been reminding myself of in my current season, is I'm waiting on God for certain things that I've been praying over, or things that He's spoken over me. I'm finding purpose in the in-between, in the right now, because I know that He's going to fulfill whatever He said over me. And so I just want to pray over you guys as you are in this place of just like, God, I'm waiting. And so, yeah, God, I just thank You for each person watching this, God, and I just bless their season. I bless their process. I thank You for their waiting time, God, that there's so much purpose in it, and I pray that they will find out what that is, God, and not be so consumed with what is to come, God, but literally be so present right now in what You are doing, because God, You are faithful to fulfill whatever it is that You promise. So God, I just pray for strength, just like You've promised that those that wait on You shall renew their strength, God, that You're renewing their strength in order for them to be able to carry and to be good stewards of their next seasons. And so, yeah, I just want to bless you guys with that and encourage you with that there's so much purpose in the right now and in the waiting, and find out what that is. And again, he's so faithful, and I pray that these testimonies that I shared were encouraging to you as you wait on God to fulfill whatever he's promised you and he said over you. All right, y'all, have an amazing week. Bye.